people come into this business and their concerns change.
Sure.
When they first come in, their concern is, how in the freak am I going to learn all these products?
Yep.
How am I going to learn, how to sell, what to sell, when to sell, what to say, all that stuff. And we're sitting here as experienced agents going, that's not the problem. Like, you can be the perfect salesman, but if you're not sitting in front of anybody, I always say, people tell me they could sell ice to Eskimos. If you don't have any Eskimos, you can have all the ice in the world. Does not matter.
You just got to have the sale to close, and then you can close it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Medicare Sales Playbook. I'm your host, Dallas Keithley. I'm joined today by our co-host, Mr. Matthew Smith. And I am searching for a new co-host, as he labeled us the tall guy and the bald guy. And I lose on so many different levels with that. You know what I mean?
We've been looking for a descriptive tagline.
That ain't it.
Well, it's one of them.
Yeah, I got some too.
We can roll with
it today. This is a family show. Speaking of family.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm going to tie this in. Today's topic.
Okay.
Things I wish I would have known. And we're not going to talk about family. We are going to talk about things we wish we knew when we first got into the Medicare business. Things we wish we knew when we first entered the Medicare business. And I want to jump right in because, man, if you were to summarize my career, I've had a good career. I've had fun with it. We've had a good time. But I could also go back and say I could write a book on all the different ways that you do not do insurance. Right?
Right.
And I wish somebody...
Well, sorry, I'm saying that for you. Probably so, though.
Yeah. You've had a great career.
It's been great.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But if we go back and look, there are things that, man, you would be light years ahead if you had known this from the beginning. So that's what we want to discuss today.
Yes.
And I'm going to throw one in the beginning that we didn't even discuss. It's not on your little paper there as you rub my knee. That's my knee. That's your knee.
I actually wrote on it, but whatever.
Yeah, thank you. But things I wish I would have known, get into Medicare sooner. I avoided Medicare like you picked the plague. I avoided it like that one.
Okay, so, and I agree.
Yeah.
Now, I started writing Medicare, so that one's not as relevant to me, but why did you? Tell me about that. Why did you like that?
Yeah.
Why did
Shout out to Rocky Garza. Tell me more about that.
Tell me about that. So what was it that caused you, because you started out where?
Life insurance.
Okay.
Wanted to do all life insurance because life insurance made fast money. Life and I started with a captive agency back in the day, which we'll talk about more later. But started with a captive agency, and they had trained us that life insurance was the way to go. Some Medicare supplements, we called them Medicare Disadvantage plans, which back in 2001 may not have been wrong, which some of those didn't come along till later. But the big reason, I was doing okay in life insurance, writing business in life insurance, but then I'd look around and I'd hear Ty James across the hall. And he's on the phone with a guy trying to figure out why his medication was $2.28 instead of $2.13, you know, and he's spending time there and all that stuff. And I heard that and I'm like, nope, don't want no part of that.
Sure.
I sell a policy. I call them on their birthday. And then when they pass away, their family calls me. And that's it. You know?
So what you heard was kind of it's the customer service piece of it, but it's kind of it's not the main thing that you do, right? Like you get a lot of customer service calls, but all obviously you were hearing was kind of those one-offs and two-offs that you get. You're right. Hey, my drug was in 7 cents more than it was supposed to be.
Yep.
So you avoided it because of that, but
I found it tedious. I actually
have tedious written on my page.
I found it tedious. I found it frustrating. I found it to be more hard work than life insurance. When I sold life insurance, especially at Mutual of Omaha, I had like 3 products, not 3 carriers, 3 products.
Yeah.
I got my guaranteed issue, I got my term, and I got my, back then it was the Priority Ultra UL. And man, I can tell you anything you want to know about those. But to go in and try to learn everything about Medicare, ugh.
So what was it that finally kind of pushed you over the edge to try it?
Pushed over the edge is a great way to put it. No, it was residual income.
Sure.
I came to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm doing really well in life insurance. However, I have become accustomed to living a certain lifestyle. And, you would think if you told me, hey, you're going to make X thousands of dollars a month, I would have thought, man, what am I going to do with all that money? Well, we as Americans have it bred within us to find out how to spend every dollar we make.
Very quickly.
Yeah. So I found that if I wanted to continue living that lifestyle, I had to get up and work that hard every month. And I'm noticing the Medicare guys are taking a lot more vacations than I am.
Yep.
Because they can take off 3 weeks and that mailbox money just kept coming in. And I learned that Medicare was a better and easier door opener than life insurance. Like I had to struggle at every door to get in the house. That was in life insurance, that's the sell. If I get in a house, I'm closing it 75% of the time.
Okay.
In Medicare, they're asking me to come in and I'm closing at a higher rate.
Sure.
Because they need it.
Sure.
Right. So just stuff like that.
Okay. So kind of jumping into the next one a little bit. And I agree with you. There's probably a lot of people who have been in the life. We talk to life guys all the time, right? Who jump into Medicare at a certain point in time, like, man, I wish I could have gotten to this earlier. So kind of talking about the opportunity of Medicare, let's say, let's, kind of the next thing is something I wish I would have known is what is the difference between a captive agent and an independent agent?
Yeah.
So, my background is I was a captive agent. I didn't have 3 products. I had 1.
Right.
I had a carrier. I had 1 product. I had 7 counties that I sold within.
You were Barney with a gun, man.
Man, I could tell you anything about that product that you wanted to know.
Right.
And I was pretty good about taking that product and squeezing clients into it.
Right.
I'm going to say they all fit perfectly.
Yeah.
For
I do want to preface something because what it may sound like is us downing one side or the other.
Sure. Not at all.
It is not.
No.
Like I said, I was a captive agent. Looking back, you say, Dallas, if you go back and do it, I don't know that I would.
Yeah.
There's things I would have done differently, like how I sold and stuff like that. But man, I learned a lot from a captive agency.
Sure.
So continue. I just didn't want to make it sound like, captive's bad. It's not. It's just different.
Absolutely. Captive there's really nothing wrong with captive. At the end of the day, our goal is that we want to be in the best places for us. That might be captive to a carrier. That might be LOA to an agency. That might be an independent agent. Whatever works best for you works best for you. So I was a captive agent, and a captive agent, again, just to kind of go back then, we've talked about this before, but a captive agent is I work for a carrier and I sell their products.
Yeah.
I get paid by the carrier. I might get a salary from the carrier. I might get health insurance benefits from the carrier. I'm essentially an employee just out there pushing their product.
Correct.
I was sold on the idea that as a captive insurance agent, I can basically triple my income from what I was currently making. And I came pretty close to it. But what I was also sold on, and this was on me to not really do my due diligence, was I was also sold on is that the sky's the limit. Like my income is going to continue to go up and up and up and up and up. But what you see in some captive scenarios is that eventually that market gets saturated and you plateau, or you might even go off the other side. So one thing I wish I would have known is truly what I was getting myself into, and I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't be where I am today had I not done that. I don't know. I might be on a beach somewhere doing something, but
I've seen you on a beach. It's not pretty. You're good.
You don't have to get paid for being pretty. Listen, I wish I would have known the true, like what I was actually getting into and what I could have done at that point in time. Because we were talking 10, 12 years ago, I wish I would have known truly the independent side, because when I was hired, it was kind of like, hey, independent is not the way to go. Like captive is the way to go.
I do wish people would be more clear in their when hiring, because we are naturally trained to whatever we're selling. That's the best thing going, because we could bring a captive agent in here and talk to him and say, okay, you've got an audience, recruit.
Yes.
And he would start with, here's why I want to be captive and here's why you don't want to be independent.
Absolutely.
We could walk an independent agent right behind him and say this and this and this.
Yeah.
Everything has good, everything has bad.
Yes. Yes.
So, just laying it out. And so just for an example, I find that captive, the good about it, there's typically more structure.
Yes.
You come in at this time, you call this number, you write these leads, you have this product, here's the training.
Sure.
You do this training at this time. And again, there's independent agencies out there that are getting that too, but they have a corporate structure.
Yes.
Right? You have a manager, you have an office, you have all that stuff. I don't want to say negatives, but some of the challenges with the captive side. You don't own your book of business typically.
Nope.
They own your book of business. You have to, like you said, you have to make one client fit into one product.
Yes.
And if they don't, if you're ethical, you have to walk away. Other challenges may be you're building something for someone else. Again,
Yes.
you don't own your book, so you're building theirs.
Correct.
On the independent side, the positives are the reverse. You're building your own book. You own your business. The sky is the limit. Like you know, higher commissions typically sometimes on different products, not necessarily on a Medicare sometimes, but the challenges with independent, you are independent.
Yeah.
Right? There's
all on
nobody
you.
calling you saying, hey, where are you at? What are you doing? How much you selling? Typically, you have to get your own leads. You have to market. You have to do all that stuff. So just what you're saying is don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I'm hearing is not, I wish I would have started one way and gone to, just I wish I would have been clearer on what the opportunity was.
Yes, I wish I would have had a better understanding of what I was doing and what the other sides of that market look like. Would it have changed my mind? No, it wouldn't have changed my mind. I was a 24-year-old kid who needed structure.
Yeah.
But would that have changed the trajectory of my career? Potentially.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. I like it. What's next? What else do you wish we would have known?
I wish that I would have known, and I'll kind of expand on that. I wish that more agents getting into the business would know how to stay organized when you're first getting in. Because, okay, first thing, we just talked about this earlier. If you have a work email, use it for work.
Right.
Just work.
Are you going to give the example of?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. We'll say don't use your work email for Facebook.
Yes.
Or
nice.
Ordering things on Amazon or, Etsy or signing up for the latest subscription of whatever journal you want to read.
I'm still getting emails from the 1 cent CD club. You know what I mean? Like that's how far back my emails go. You're too young for that. Did you ever do the 1 cent CDs?
No.
Oh goodness! Like I thought I was going to jail for a while.
No, I don't know.
They would send them stuff, and you had to send it back, and I wouldn't, and I just knew the FBI was knocking on my door.
No,
Sir, Columbia House would like to speak with you. They could not find you.
Just and we say that we make those in jest that all the different things you could use that your emails for, but whenever you first get into the business, I mean, it is like an email bomb went off.
Right.
And it was solely targeted at you and your email.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, hey, this is a brand new email and it says, welcome to Google. The next day there's 700 in there.
Yeah. We heard you got your license.
Yes.
Would you like an opportunity? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then buried in those 700 emails is the 3 contracting emails that you needed.
Yep.
Or the click here to finish your E&O email that you needed. So yeah, I get what you're saying. So just organize it in that email.
And part of the organization is, and this is something that, if you've got an upline, your upline can help you with. If you're just going direct to the carrier, again, we talk a lot about that. There's not a perfect path for everybody, but regardless of what you're doing, I think one of the most important things that you have to think about is just, and I say, what am I doing? Like that's a very broad thing, but like, what am I requesting? What should I be on the lookout for? They get their license, they reach out to an FMO, and all of a sudden they get 900 emails. Well, what am I actually in search of?
What's important?
What's important?
What do I got to fill out to write business, stuff like that?
Yeah.
And I think that ties to having that conversation with the upline.
Yes.
Make sure your upline has a clear, laid out go plan path saying do this, now this, now this, now this, with proper expectations. We hear a lot of complaints from agents and stuff, and we like hearing your complaints. Keep sending them. Address them to Matthew.Smith. No. But one of the complaints is, man, I got my license in December, and it is January, and not only have I not written the policy, I don't have a writing number yet.
Okay.
So it's managing those expectations.
Sure.
And also understanding here's why you're getting slowed down.
Yeah.
So just, good stuff. Organizing that at the beginning.
And I think part of organizing is understanding that the initial stages of getting into this business, and it will get easier as you go along. I mean, I don't want to scare you and say, hey, listen, because it's going to be kind of crazy up front. The first day of any new job is wild. Because crazy up front, it will get easier. It'll get better. This job
is easy or hard till it's not.
It is.
It's hard till it's not.
And you can make it as difficult as you want to make it. But one of the things I think is really important to know, and I wish more people knew this up front, is that getting into the business is tedious. Like it's not just, like you said, it's not just, I go sign up for boom, done. I go sign up for a contract, boom, done.
Yeah.
No, I got to do certifications. I got to have signatures. I got to do all this stuff. So I wish more agents knew and were more thoughtful about being organized at the very beginning of their agency and when they launch new agents too.
Perfect. Good stuff. Up next, we have things I wish I knew, how to market when you don't have any money. How to market without money. We just had Tim Smith on because, listen, people come into this business and their concerns change.
Sure.
When they first come in, their concern is, how in the freak am I going to learn all these products?
Yep.
How am I going to learn, how to sell, what to sell, when to sell, what to say, all that stuff. And we're sitting here as experienced agents going, that's not the problem. Like, you can be the perfect salesman, but if you're not sitting in front of anybody, I always say, people tell me they could sell ice to Eskimos. If you don't have any Eskimos, you can have all the ice in the world. Does not matter.
You just got to have a sale to close, and then you can close it.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so, we see a lot of people. And I was in a conference this week and was sitting down, and I was talking to some people about, hey, when you recruit, what are some questions you ask? And a couple of guys told me, they said, look, we now tell people, if you don't have $5,000 to dump into leads, we don't want to work with you, because it takes a system, and that's their thing. Good for them, whatever. But as a new agent, when you get in, what are some ways that you can market without any money?
I think you can do a couple of things just right out of the gate. I mean, you have to have, we talk about it all the time. You got to have time or money. The less you have of one, you got to spend more of the other. So I think one of the first things you could do, and this is like 13 podcasts all wrapped into one here, but like understanding how to use social media.
Yeah. Well, Tim Smith, we just had him on, just released his a couple weeks ago. Dude generated 2,800. And as we sit here, it is January.
It's January.
Let's get the month. There's a J. Close. January the 14th. And they're saying we're shutting down TikTok on January 19th. We'll know more after this policy. That may have gone away. Who knows? But one thing, I was listening to the radio on the way over here, and they were talking about the apps that are launching now to replace TikTok. So there will be something.
Oh, sure.
There will be an app. Tim Smith talks about how he uses TikTok. And guys, it's not about TikTok. It's about finding a platform.
Yes.
Seeing what other people are doing on the platform and then doing it.
Yeah. And and Tim will say over and over and over, as I think anybody would, it's not the platform you're on. It's consistency. It's just doing it over and over and over and over and over every single day. And
the number one excuse that I hear from people that aren't using social media is it won't work.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So let me lay this out. This week you sat down with 3 people. What happens if you go this week and spend 2 hours making 5 TikToks? You can't go farther backwards. It's not going to hurt you.
No.
Go out there and see if it'll work. Go out there, copy what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
Cody Askins says all the time, plagiarism is frowned upon, but then you get in the business world and they're like, just do what he's doing.
Yeah.
Just go watch Tim Smith, Medicare Man, and do it word for word.
Yeah.
Exactly what he's doing. There's enough business out there for everybody.
Yeah, I think the other one I hear is, I don't want to look stupid. Listen.
Too late?
Here's the deal. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And if they do care, do you care? Because you shouldn't. Like, if you're trying to grow your business and somebody sends you a text like, hey, I watched your video and you looked really stupid. Now, I've done that to some of my friends. That's a joke to them.
I've got a couple texts
Maybe
from you.
true. But, should you really care?
All I heard was you watched my video.
Yep.
That's all I heard.
That's it. So you watch my video. Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I'm afraid I'll look stupid. I won't know what to say. I'm afraid I won't be compliant.
Yep.
Just don't be dumb. Don't go out and be like, I have the best plan money can buy, and I can replace your plan and get you all your hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
It's just what Tim does. He explains Medicare. He makes it simple. Brings it down to a 5th grade level and makes it simple.
Easy.
We know that Rusty and Michelle, they do a great job of food pantries.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really cost you any money.
No.
We've heard of people doing food pantries. We've heard of people working a warm market. When I got started, if you go start with one of the big name companies today, they're going to tell you that go out there and write down the name of 200 people that you know and love. And then start calling and dialing and all that.
Yep.
Really comes down to how bad you want it.
It does.
But still the reason my mom won't even call me back to this day. But there are things you can do. There's what I would tell you to do is just start Googling how to market an insurance without money. I did it before the show. And, man, you can go work in senior homes. VA.
Yes.
VAs are always looking for volunteers.
Yes.
There's a lot of different things that you can do. I will tell you this, though. I was speaking to an agent. Here's what I see a lot, and we'll move on to the next topic. What I see a lot is agents spend more time doing things that do not directly get them in front of clients.
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
Like they're creating a YouTube channel and they're teaching on YouTube. And I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but they're teaching on YouTube on how to do different things and stuff like that, and then expecting the phone to ring.
Yes.
It's not going to.
No.
TikTok is even going to take some time. If you go to record 5 TikToks this week and put one out every day, your phone's not going to ring off the hook.
No.
In time, it can.
Sure.
But you need to be doing things that get you directly in front of people early on.
Sure.
Attack it.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I add on to that really quickly
go
here?
For it.
Provider offices, doctors' offices, dentists, eye doctors, pharmacies. You going to the places where your clientele are at, because that's where they are, and they're asking a million questions when they're there.
And those people hate to hear those questions and hate to field those questions.
They do, but they hate to pass them off because they're afraid they're going to lose business. But if you can walk in there as a trusted advisor, make a relationship, have somebody like that that's in your pocket, it costs you nothing but time and some pleasantries when you go in there. Your first one will be a little bit awkward. That'll cost you a little bit of pride at the beginning, but you'll get over it. It's an easy conversation. And, again, we're talking about we got to have sales to close. I mean, we want to go fish in the hole where all the fish are at. So where are all your clients going? That's where you need to be.
Exactly. So, to summarize that, nothing works all the time. Everything works some of the time.
Sure.
So mix that up. But at the end of the day, there has to be a part of your day where you are on the phone, right? Because, again, that's another example. You walk into a pharmacy and you talk to them and say, hey, would you send me all the people that have problems? They will love you.
Yeah.
But you're not going to write any business off that today.
Nope.
It's going to take some time to develop. Part of your marketing has to be something where you are on the phone saying, can I sit down with you today?
Yeah.
Can I talk to you? I see a lot of people doing the stuff but they're not going to survive till they get to that stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
All right. Next up, how and when to cross-sell. I was on the phone with the lady today, and she sells life insurance. And she's like, man, I just keeps hearing about I should be cross-selling, I should be cross-selling, I should be cross-selling. She said, but, Dallas, I'm just learning how to spell life insurance.
Sure.
How do I do that? Because there's the school of thought that I hear all the time, and I agree with it partially, is do one thing, do it really, really well. There's a difference between cross-selling and chasing the shiny object, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
How does one know when to start to venture out?
I think it's going to be different for everybody. I agree. I like the idea of finding your niche, finding your lane, and then expanding from there, whether it's Medicare, whether it's life or retirement. This is the Medicare Sales Playbook, so we know it's Medicare. But just, finding your lane. But as you're in that lane, very quickly, you're going to start noticing gaps and things like that. You're going to start conversations from clients are going to happen. I know we've talked about our cross-selling sheet, and I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, but we use a cross-selling sheet for every client that we see. That sheet tells all of our clients everything that we do. So we don't even have to really cross-sell it that much. We have a process in place that does it, but day one, honestly, I think day one is, you don't have to make it a major part of your business, but having a contract for a hospital indemnity plan,
right,
understanding what it does, and then when you go out there and present your first Medicare Advantage plan,
cross-sell into that hospital indemnity plan. Now, I think a couple things you can do here to speed up the process is, one, be a student of your industry.
Yes.
I told her, I said, well, that to me, I don't know if I should say this or not. I'm going to, and then we'll figure it out. I said, do you want to be Firestone Tires or do you want to be Target? Firestone Tires, people go in there to buy what? Tires.
Tires. Yeah.
Tires. Firestone Tires. That's it, right? You go to Firestone, you're buying tires.
Yes.
Target, what are you going in there to buy?
Everything else.
Everything, right? So do you want to be Firestone Tires? And I'm not saying one is bad and one is good.
Sure.
Both of them make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. But kind of look at what you want to be. And then I do believe in be the master of one thing. If you're going to be a Medicare man, know everything about Medicare.
Absolutely.
But know enough to be dangerous about a hospital indemnity plan, life insurance policy, stuff like that. Another thing you can do, and I told her, is if I were starting over today, one thing I would do is I would sell little bits of life insurance or whatever, but my first goal would be to bring on a recruit and say, I want you to be my life insurance guy.
Sure.
Right? I want you to be underneath me. You're my life insurance guy. I'm going to cross-sell to you. And then I'm going to bring in an annuity guy.
Yeah.
We brought in Pat Schmidt.
Yep.
I want you to be my annuity guy. That way, because there are some things, I can go out and be dangerous on life insurance, stuff like that. But if you ask me to explain an annuity to a point where someone else can understand it and buy it, I'm not there.
Yeah.
But I do know somebody.
Absolutely.
So break off and have your main thing, but then break off into your network.
Yeah. And that's a powerful statement is I might not be able to do it, but I know somebody. I mean, having those partners in your back corner. I don't think there's a bad time to start cross-selling.
No.
Well, never. That's a terrible time. But understanding your products and what your market is, that's, it just flows right into it.
And it's okay to say, you know what, so let's say I'm sitting here with somebody.
Okay.
And, maybe I'm using a cross-selling sheet, whatever, but we're just talking about insurance. Mm-hmm. I'm filling out the Medicare supplement application.
Okay.
Right. And I'm going along, getting their social, date of birth, all that stuff. And, hey, what got you thinking about calling me? Well, we met somebody and a friend of mine works at the nursing home and they sent us to us. By the way, that makes me think, do you guys do nursing home insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the average brand new agent is like, okay, I know my license allows me to.
Yeah.
I know that I can, but that's as far as my knowledge goes. It's okay to say, you know what, we do. I want to do this right now. Let's finish this. Let's get this knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to get some information from you. I'm going to come back next week and talk to you about that policy.
Sure.
And then find someone that can come back with you or help you or whatever you need. So it's okay to say, I'm not sure. I don't know, but I will find out.
No, I agree. Yeah. That's great.
Next topic, when to recruit. Now, this is one. I just did an interview with Letitia Jackson. I love Letitia Jackson.
Yes.
We got to talking about, I really try never to say another negative word about an FMO, IMO, and agency, whatever. But the ones that really just chap my whatever are ones that they bring you in. Matt, welcome to the team. Now, who do you know that could fill out this list of 20 names of people that want the same opportunity you do?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what the opportunity is. That's okay. Just fill it out. Do you have a cousin? Do you have a brother? Mm-hmm. Do you have a sister? Right? Just fill that out. To me, that is hurting our industry.
I agree.
I can't stand it. Things I wish I would have known, the most important part of being able to recruit and put people underneath you is when you can turn around and say, do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I am duplicatable.
Yes.
Here's how I get in front of people. Here's how I study. Here's the products I sell. Now, go do exactly what I'm doing.
Sure. follow-up question from an agent's going to be, though, how do I know if I'm ready to do that?
Look at your system. Are you consistently writing business?
Yeah.
Are you getting in front of 15 people a week? Do you have a process and a system, not only that's duplicatable, but there's enough meat on the bone that I can tell you how to do it too?
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm working one food bank and I'm getting 10 appointments a week, I can't say, hey, Matt, come work the same food bank with me. Now I've got 5 appointments a week. Right? But I can say to you, come watch how I work this food bank and then go to the next county over and do that food bank.
Absolutely.
Do what I do.
Do you think income has a place in that conversation?
It does, because what you have to understand is if I'm working 40, 50 hours a week and I bring you in the beginning, it's kind of like that time and money thing that changes place. In the beginning, you are going to take up 10 to 20 of those hours. So my income is going to drop.
Yes.
The nice thing about Medicare, we were talking to Sid James. He said, the reason I love to recruit in Medicare is now I've built up a residual income that allows me to spend more of my time as a mentor other than a producer.
Yes.
So it does build that up. So I think that's what you were getting at is build that residual so that you have income coming in and you can sacrifice some of those hours to train you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I don't have anything to add to that. I mean, it's good stuff. You know, it's one of the things that terrifies me, and not a lot of things scare me, but one of the things that scares me is somebody who has never sold a policy who's like, I'm going to recruit a 30-man team next month.
Yeah. Just go make sure your E&O is up to date first off.
And I'm going to pray for you.
Don't call me.
Best of luck to you. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Not to say you can't do it. I mean, there's going to be people out there that are going to be successful at it, but there are going to be fewer and far between because, you have to show proof of concept and all of those things.
And think about this. Let's say I go work for FMO that does that.
Yeah.
And I bring you in and you fail because I can't help you. Man, if we're buddies, we're not buddies anymore.
Nope.
You're like, gosh, dang it, Dallas, I quit my job.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I'm not a loser anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go do this.
I bought a boat.
I didn't tell you to do that, but I'll buy it back from you real cheap. But it's that expectation too of, man, one of the hardest things about having a team, again, Letitia Jackson was talking about this. She's like, if I fail, so what? I can go get a job. I can do whatever. But if I bring somebody in and I sell them a dream and they fail because of my lack of help, that hurts, man. That's hard.
Yeah. And it should. I mean, it should.
Yeah.
Because even though we're independent, I recruit you. You're not my employee.
No.
But you are dependent on me.
But I am looking at you as that. Which brings us to our last one here. Things I wish I would have known earlier. Every guest, down to everyone, have said to me, Dallas, my mentor said this. I wish I would have known earlier that the easiest way to succeed is find someone that is doing what I want to do, is going where I want to go, and just follow them.
Yeah.
Lean into a mentor a lot earlier. You brought this one up. Talk about when looking for a mentor, what should someone look for?
So I had a mentor. I still communicate with him, some, not as much as I did. But when I first got into the business, I was young. I was 24. I was scared. I was pretty sure I'd made a horrible decision, but hey, here we are. Let's roll the dice. And I met a gentleman in the very same position I was. He was at a different place. And I looked for somebody who was doing exactly what I was doing, who was doing it at a very, very, very high level, because I knew not only one, can he, coach me through the steps of being, but he can also coach me through my failures. And that to me was the really hard part is, I was a captive agent. I got licensed in August. I trained in September. October 1, I had home visits set up. AEP. And I went 2 weeks without hearing yes. Wow. And I was defeated, deflated, all of the things that you can be. Like, I can still tell you the first app I wrote. I can tell you the address. I can tell you the guy's last name, but I can't tell you his first name.
Jeff James was my first.
It's a strange thing. The house I wrote was over on State Street. That's neither here nor there. But I had to go and find some time to spend with him, do some ride-alongs. I went and watched him do a seminar. I sat and listened to him make some calls because I just needed to hear it done, one. And number two, he then turned around after he let me just shadow him. He poured into me. Like he made me realize that, man, you're not a failure. You're just new. You don't have anybody leading you in this. And so I think for me, when I'm looking for a mentor, just like you said, I'm looking for somebody who's not just doing what I want to do, but doing it at a very, very, very high level.
Yeah. And a couple things I heard there. One, find somebody that's actually doing it. There's a lot of people that will tell you how to work in this business. Ask them, how many apps have you written in the last year?
Yeah.
In your career at least. Find somebody that cares about you as much or more than you care about you. Find somebody that's willing to invest time in you. And for me, I've always been able to find people that believe in me more than I believe in me.
Yeah.
They're like, man, I'm like, hey, I wrote 2 apps this week. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
That's your goal?
Yeah.
If that's your goal, that's fine. But I see more in you.
Yeah.
Like you got 10 apps in you every week. So let's go out there and find what we can do. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, it was very empowering to hear somebody. And I like to think that I'm fairly confident, but it was empowering to hear somebody in the time when I was like, dude, where's the emergency exit? Like, let's get out of here. Let's get the resume going. This is a dumpster fire. It was really empowering just to hear somebody say, hey, like, I see a lot of potential in you. And potential on the front end is a really great word to hear. I see a lot of potential in you. That just, that helped me
love it. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Yeah. Good stuff. Things we wish we would have known. And what are some things? So we're going to wrap this up today. What are some things you guys wish you would have known going back into the industry? And I ask you guys because we have a variety of listeners. We have brand new. We have people in the business, been in the business 20 years. And you're thinking of things right now. You're saying, man, I wish I would have known this. I wish I would have known this. I wish I would have known that. Drop them in the comments. Let us know, and we'll talk about them on another show here soon. So, but need to wrap this one up now. Our producer, Celine, she's in there waving her arms like the building's on fire. Is the building on fire? No. We're good. Okay.
It doesn't seem like
we'll keep going. But we do appreciate you guys tuning into the Medicare Sales Playbook. And, man, great stuff today, Matt. Matt, you came to me with this topic of, hey, things I wish I knew. I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing that. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, good stuff. So, guys, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things the cool kids are doing, and we will see you guys next time on the Medicare Sales Playbook.